Now what do I want to do? I want to go ahead and create a belt, something around here, some kind of piece of armor here, and I was thinking about making some leg bracers around the bottom. Again, this is all up to you. However you want to make your armor, you can go ahead and make yours different than mine. It doesn't have to be the same. In fact, I'm hoping it's not. So we all are creating something different. But this looks really flat. We haven't created any dimension to this. It's really flat. So remember our little friend Face Extrude? We're going to go ahead and select the front. I'm going to move over. Actually, because we welded, it's all uniform now. With both of them selected, we're going to go up here from the drop down modifier. We're going to find Face Extrude. Now I'm going to extrude it. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to go ahead and extrude it some. Give it a little depth. So now it has this edge on it. So in game, it actually look like it's a cloth and not just this flat plane. It also makes it easier to move it closer to the body, so you can see what people are going to see. So I just increase this. What happens if I go up to like a 0.3? See what that looks like. Yeah, 0.3 looks kind of thick. Looks like a really thick cloth. So that's what I'm going to work with. I'm going to go ahead and do 0.3. I may move it a little closer to the body. Again, that's up to you. You got to play with yours. I'm playing with mine. This is my armor. And I might move a few individual vertices like right over here. Kind of get a better curve on that. Alright, as soon as I'm done with face extrusion, go to convert to editable mesh or editable poly, whichever. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to select some of these vertices like this right here and this right here, and I'm going to right click and use my scale tool. I should have done this before I did my symmetry, made sure everything was lined up good. That's a little better. Right, it's all about you. You got to shape yours. I'm shaping mine. Again, I'm just letting you watch me make my armor so you can work on making yours. Like I said, I make mine really skimpy. Just preference. You don't have to make yours this skimpy if you don't want. Just giving you some pointers and some tips and showing you how to work with this program. Yeah, so I'm going to have to move some more vertices. I'm going to go ahead and skip past here. I'm going to move some of my vertices around closer, so I'll pause the video for right now, and I'll see you here in a second, and we'll continue to make, we'll probably make like a belt part, and I'll show you how I make my cylinders around the legs. Alright, I moved some more of my vertices around, so now I want to go ahead and smooth this, and we're going to save this as a NIF. We're going to export it, we're going to set it up as a NIF so we don't lose all this work we've done. We're not going to paint it. The reason we're not going to paint it is we're actually going to create another object, and we're going to mold these two objects together so they're one object. And after we do that, I'm going to create like a belt, sort of, and we're going to attach the belt and the undergarment piece so that when we paint it, both this and the cylinder that we're going to use to create a belt are going to be a single object. So the paint we can paint both of them at the same time. I'm going to show you how to do that. So just what we're going to do here is first I want to smooth mine out so it looks a little better now that I've created some depth to it with the face extrusion. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to convert it to an editable poly, and it's an editable poly. I want to go ahead and I can select it this way, or I can select all the vertices. So zoom out and grab them all. Then go over here and remember our little M smooth friend. Click that one time, and it should have smoothed it out. So let's see what it looks like now. Looks like it could be smoothed again. It's kind of bumpy. So let's let me smooth that twice. Smooth it again. Not liking the way the smooth looks on this, so maybe I'll try a different smooth. Maybe I'll go up here, try to see if this one works. So I'll go up here and check this smooth. So I'll find my smooth. Select this, select 2. There we go. That rounded it out a little better, and maybe I can smooth it some more. So I'll right click on it, convert it to editable poly, and now I'm going to try to M smooth it. So that rounded it a little better. Now if you look at the vertices, you always want to make sure you keep your vertice count. You don't let this number get too high. If you get too many vertices, you'll have so many problems when you export it. You might crash or something. So this is pretty well rounded. I'm pretty happy with it. If I were to go from realistic to hidden line, you can kind of see that it's a fairly complex mesh now. Very complex. So next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and go back to realistic. I want to see if I can weld these while I still have all the vertices selected. I'm going to see what happens when I weld it. Hit weld again. Let me convert this to an editable mesh. Go to vertices, And I'm going to try to weld it this way. There we go. All the vertices are welded. Very nice looking mesh. You know. And before we export it, so if we ever need to use this just this part of the undergarment again for another armor creation, let's go ahead and unwrap the UVW. So from the modifier pane with the object selected, you can go ahead and just drop that down. Go to unwrap UVW. Select that. Open up the Open UV editor. And we can see that we have two parts here. Now remember, because we created symmetry, it's only showing half. Let's see what happens. Back normalize once. Now we have both sides of it. We have one side and then we have the other side. So now we have the whole thing selected. I'm just showing you that this is possible. You can move these parts on your polite around to get them away from the edge. So if I wanted to select, whoops, kind of messed that up. Move that around. You would select all of it, you know, by kind of control clicking and dragging, and then you can move it by selecting. Like, you don't have to do this. I'm just showing you that you can. Yeah, I'm not going to. I'm going to leave mine alone right where it's at. So I'll go back to where I was and then just hit pack normalize once. So now it's unwrapped. You know, it looks pretty good. I'm not going to mess with anything in here. I'm just going to go ahead and hit X. I'm going to right click on this object and convert it to an editable mesh. And now I'm ready to skin it. So first thing I do is I want to right click and unfreeze all, and we're going to go ahead and right click and hit unhide all, and then in the editable mesh we're going to drop this down. Since we've already smoothed it, we can add another smooth. It won't hurt anything. So put a smooth, set it to 2. This is so when we export it, no additional vertices are developed. Drop down the modifier pane, go ahead and get your skin wrap, and we want to do face deformation. You guys know how to do all this. Weight all points, select add, and we're going to click the UMP body. It was very fast, and I'm going to convert it to skin. I'm going to go ahead and select the skin wrap, right click on it, delete it, select the skin, drop it down, and select the BS dismember skin modifier. Zoom out, make sure you select them all. They weren't all selected. You notice the edges from the face extrusion were definitely not selected, so I select them all. Drop down in body part. I'm going to go ahead and set it to Skyrim Torso 1, or in many of your cases, Skyrim Main Body. And I'm good to export. Now before I export, I'm going to go up here, select Create. I forgot that when we imported this UMP body, we forgot to put a smooth on it, so let's go ahead and do that. Select the UMP body, select Editable Mesh, drop it down, and let's put a smooth on it so we don't have any issues. So select Smooth, select 2, drop off of it. Alright, now we're ready to export. So I'm going to go up here, drop it down, go ahead and select Export. I'm going to go to our UMP Custom Armors and go into Backup. I'm going to set it Save As Type. I'm going to go to a NIF. And I already had a bikini bottom before. I'm going to call this I don't know, I'll call it Undies 1, Undies 01, and that should work for now. So this is just to back it up, so if we ever want to use it again, we can, so we don't have to do all this work to create it. You know, if we want to use it for another armor, and just click Save. Make sure we don't weld any vertices, so just delete those 3 and go ahead and click Export. And give it a second, and it exported it. So now we're good to go ahead and start creating the belt of it. Again, I didn't paint it because I want to add this object to another object. So you guys know how to create the belt. We're just going to create a cylinder. You know, so I'm going to go out here. Oh, first thing I want to do is in the perspective pane, we're going to select our undergarment, and we're going to select the body, and we're going to select Hide Unselected. And then we're going to go ahead and right click and select freeze, so we freeze what we have in here already. Now in the top view pane, I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to go to the side view pane, zoom it out, get it in front because I'm creating a cylinder. You know the routine. Go up here into geometry. I'm going to create a cylinder, and I'm going to go ahead and drag this out. So here's the front of my cylinder. Oops, I forgot. Hold on. Let me hit Control Z. I want to do 2 cap segments, so I have something in the middle to delete. And go ahead and just drag my cylinder out and then drag it up. Make it slightly larger than the body. And I have to decide how big do I want this. Well, this is part that you might get a little confused. So I'm just going to click this. I'm just going to delete the cylinder because I want to see the breastplate while I'm working in this. So make my perspective a little bigger. I already had my skeleton hidden. I have this frozen, so while everything's already set up, I right click to get off of cylinder. I'm going to go up here and select import, and I'm going to import that breastplate. So I'm going to go to my UMP custom armors. I'm going to go to data, meshes, armor. Whoops. Sorry. I'm going to go to your UMP custom armors, go to backup, and select your breastplate, and then select open. Well, we don't want to import the skeleton because the skeleton's in there. It's just hidden. So uncheck that and select import. Now it's saying that there's an import name conflict. We already had a UMP body in there. Don't worry about that. We'll just say OK. And now we can go in here, select the body, and just delete it. Alright, because our body's frozen, so no need to worry there. Now we can see both our chest piece and our undergarment together while we create our belt. So go ahead and select the chest piece, right click on it, and just go ahead and freeze it. So now we know what we're working around when we create this next piece. So now I'm ready to create a cylinder. So I'm going to drag this over. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, try to get this in the front so I can work with the sizing. Yeah. Now I'm going to go ahead and create the cylinder. So select cylinder, cap segment still at 2, and just going to click somewhere close to the center, drag it out. Now I have to gauge, okay, I see my undergarment, now I see this, and I don't want to make it too big because then it'll conflict with the chest, so maybe make it kind of small, like something like that. There we go. Now I'm going to zoom in, delete the top half of this, convert it to, right click twice, get this menu, and select convert to editable poly. Now I'm going to select my polygon tool. I'm going to hold down control and just select everything and hit delete. Now I want the vertices so I can change the width. Select all the vertices in the middle, right click, select scale, drop down here to my perspective pane, right click in the perspective pane to select the window, and on the XY I'm going to scale it out, the XY plane. Gotta pick the width here. Now I can gauge, I can set this up, and then I can go up to the armor and kind of gauge how wide that was. It was the inner one. It's about how wide that was, and just kind of compare them. That looks about right. And when I look at it, looks pretty good. So now, yeah, I'll make it a little wider. Yeah, just a little bit. That's good. Deselect that. Now I'm going to select the element tool, grab this sucker, and I'm ready to move it over. So with it selected, I'm going to right click, select move, and I'm going to move it under. Now I want to kind of center it, so I'm going to go here to X, and go ahead and push it at 0. Now I know it's dead center. And now I can go ahead and blow up this window here, so I can work, Alt W, and then just move this where I want it. Move it up over the body and kind of position it, to where I can start molding it to form. Now remember, right here in front of the legs and kind of in this hip area is a problem area when you crouch. It likes to cause, the body clips through it. So I'm going to try to avoid that. Again, this is how I'm making my armor. You can make yours however you want. Just letting you watch me make mine so you get some ideas, some tricks. Alright, and I'm just going to go ahead and mold this to the body, which you guys already know how to do. Now before I start molding this to the body, I want to check where that UV is, the UV map. So we're going to go ahead and convert this to an editable mesh. And with it as an editable mesh, from my modifier pane, drop down and find my unwrap UVW. And there's the line. I want to watch out for that line right there. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate this. So select editable mesh, select the element, click on it if you have to highlight it all, and we're going to rotate it and put it on the side. Right, where's it at? It's right there. I'm going to rotate it a little bit back over. I'm putting mine on the side. If you want to hide yours by putting something over it, you can do that and put it somewhere else. I put mine on the side for this armor. That's where it's right underneath the arm. And that's pretty good. It's right on the side. So since I'm done with that, I'll just go ahead and right click it and say convert to an editable poly, so I can still work with it. Alright, see you guys here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and start molding my armor, so you know how to do that. Just mold it around like a belt.